Alright, children, let us continue with our next kingdoms. The two are left. We are dealing with classification of living beings. We did three kingdoms, that is Monera, Protista, and Fungi. Now we'll move on to another kingdom, which is your kingdom Plantae. Your kingdom Plantae includes all of your plants, of course. So, kingdom Plantae consists of all the plants, and plants are eukaryotic organisms. You all know the meaning of eukaryotic by now. Eukaryotic means that their nucleus is well bound by a membrane known as nuclear membrane. The organisms whose nucleus is covered, wrapped, they are eukaryotic, and they consist of multicellular organism. Multicellular means made up of many cells. Okay, there are some unicellular forms as well, like volvox. Okay, volvox, it's an alga. Alga is type of plant. Volvox is unicellular. So this kingdom consists of unicellular organisms as well as multicellular organisms. So the main thing that plants have, one is that their cell, all of these cells are having one cell wall, which is made up of cellulose. And secondly, all plants are autotrophs, that is, they can produce their own food. Okay, they can produce their own food, they can show the process of photosynthesis. But there are some other plants as well, like dodder and Rafflesia. They draw their nutrition from another plants. They do not show any photosynthesis, but they feed on another plants. And then there are some insectivorous plants as well. You might have heard of pitcher plant, or say there is one Venus flytrap. They feed on insects. They can show photosynthesis, but they do not get enough nitrogen from the soil, and in order to fulfill that nitrogen, they take in insects and eat them. Okay, now the plants and their divisions. Now plants are of 5 types. Okay, there are 5 further divisions of kingdom Plantae. There are algae, then mosses, then there are ferns, then cone bearing plants, and the last one are flowering plants. The last category of this is closed seeded plant, also known as flowering plant. Okay, these are the 5 types of plants. First one is algae. Algae are the very simple plants. They are mostly aquatic, which means they grow in water, of course, or they can also grow on moist rocks. All algae have chlorophyll. Chlorophyll is present inside them. Okay, and there are some red or brown algae as well, but they can produce their own food. Secondly, there are mosses. They are also simple plants. They grow on land, only a few centimeters long, but they do not have true root, true stem and leaf. This means that some of the structures are present in them, but they are not the real structures. A root-like structure is present, a leaf-like structure is present, but it is not actually the leaf and actually the root, which means they are having false root, stem and leaves. They have some structures which resemble to the leaves or which resemble to the root, but the functions which the real leaf and root are playing, they do not play that. Okay, then come the ferns. Ferns are mostly, they are land plants, they grow on land. There are some aquatic as well. They mainly grow in shady places, wherever there is shade. And they have proper leaf, root and stems, everything. Okay. Now talking about cone bearing plants. Now these two categories, in this cone bearing plants, they're also known as conifers. There are two types of cones. One is male, another one is female cone. Okay, in this case, seeds are produced because only from the seed a new plant will grow, right? Seeds are there, but these seeds are not covered by a fruit. Like all the close seeded plants, whatever, whether we take apple, orange, banana is seedless, mango, in every close seeded plant, the seeds are covered inside a fruit. A fruit protects the seed. But in cone bearing plants, there is no such formation of fruit. And because seeds are present directly in the form of cones, so these are known as cone bearing plants or naked seeded plants, because seeds are not covered. Okay, there are a number of examples of these, like sago palm or the firs, the cedars. They are all the cone bearing plants. Then the most advanced type of plants are these. They have all the flowers and their seeds are produced and they are present inside the fruit. That is why they are called closed seeded plants, because their seeds are present inside the fruit. They are covered, they are closed. Okay, all the brinjal, chili, poppy, mango, they all are examples of closed seeded plants. Now closed seeded plants, they further are of two types. One are dicot, and another one are monocot. The seed of a plant always stores its food in cotyledon. Seed stores its food because seed cannot directly, we just don't sow the seed directly into the soil and it starts growing into another plant. It takes some time. A seed has to take some time in order to grow, and meanwhile that time it feeds on the stored food which is present inside it, and that food is stored in the cotyledon. So dicot plants are those who are having two cotyledons in which the food is stored, and monocot has only one cotyledon. Another difference between dicot and monocot is that in case of dicot plant, the root system is tap root system, which means there is one main root and from that main another branches are arising. This root system is known as tap root system. While in monocot, it is fibrous root system, means there are number of roots arising. For example, whenever you pull out grass, its roots are something like this, many small thin roots. While in case of tap root system, there is one big root and from that big root side branches are there. Another difference is that in case of dicot plants, the leaves are having reticulate venation, means they are something like this. Their veins are present alternatively. If one is present here, another one will be here. While in monocot, the leaves are having parallel venation. The veins of the leaf are present parallelly. Okay, this is all about plants. Now the major kingdom, the big kingdom, which is the kingdom Animalia. The last kingdom is kingdom Animalia, which is having all of the animals of this whole universe. Animals are also eukaryotic, which means that their nucleus is covered by a membrane. They are multicellular and they are heterotrophic. Heterotrophic means they cannot produce their own food. They have to depend on someone else for their food. and they do not have any cell wall. Cell wall is absent in them. Okay, now animals, they all can move, they show locomotion. Talking about animals, they are mainly divided into two broad classification. Animals are of two types. One in which backbone is missing, they are known as invertebrates, and the another one in which backbone is present, they are the vertebrates. Invertebrates and vertebrates. Now, in the beginning, we said that there is one system of classification. That firstly, there is kingdom, and under the kingdom are the phylums, and under the phylums are the classes. Now we have to talk about the phylums of kingdom Animalia. Okay, so kingdom Animalia is having in total 9 phylums. We have to read about them one by one. The very first one is phylum Porifera. Porifera. Talking about the characters of Porifera, they are the organisms which bear pores. Pores means small holes are present in their body. Okay, they are also known as sponges. They are also known as sponges. Okay, they are mainly marine. They live in oceans, and some of them live in fresh water, that is in rivers. Example of marine porifera is Spongia, and example of freshwater porifera is Spongilla. Okay, so how does the porifers look like? They do not have any proper organ system. Sponges are hollow from inside, hollow, empty from inside, and the outer surface has a number of pores through which water enters, because they live in water, so water will enter inside their body, and if they will find anything worth eating in that water, they will eat it, and the rest of the water will move out from their body through a hole present at the top of their body. There is one opening at the top. The water enters through the pores and leaves through the opening present at the top. The adult sponges, they cannot move from one place to another, but the larvae, like frog also has a larva frog. The larva frog is known as tadpole, which lives in water. Similarly, this is also having one larval form. The larval form, it can swim in water. It will swim until it finds a perfect area to which it can stick to, and when it finds such a space, then it fixes itself on that particular space, and then it does not move. Okay, and if any of the part of the sponge is degenerated or say is lost or damaged, then it can be repaired. Like a lizard can regenerate its own tail, similarly any of the missing part can be regenerated. Next phylum is phylum Cnidaria. Cnidaria is having one special thing. They are having the stinging cells. Like the honeybees, they sting. The wasp, they sting. Similarly, Cnidaria, they are having stinging cells known as cnidocytes. By using this stinging cell, they attack on their enemy. And by using the same stinging cells, they can catch their prey. If they want to eat something, they will kill that thing with the cnidocytes and then eat it. Okay. So, their characters. They also have one empty cavity inside of the body is hollow, empty, and this cavity is known as coelenteron. Okay, this cavity is known as coelenteron, body cavity. All the things happens inside this cavity. Okay, and this cavity opens outside through a mouth, and on the mouth are present a number of tentacles. The cnidocytes, the stinging cells, are present on these tentacles, and they help to capture prey. In order to eat something, they also need to attack it, and in order to protect themselves from the enemy, they use these same stinging cells known as cnidocytes. Cnidarians, they can be stationary or they can swim. They are of both types. They can move as well, or some of the cnidarians, they are stationary. For example, coral, it is a stationary example of cnidaria. And then there is one jellyfish. Mind one thing, jellyfish is not a fish. It is a cnidarian. Okay. So jellyfish can move. So it is example of free moving cnidarian. Right. And if any part of the cnidarians get lost or damaged, they can again regrow it. Alright. Now another 3 types of phylums are platyhelminths. Then there is nematoda, and third type is annelid. Platyhelminths, they all are worms. Okay, the platyhelminths are flat, ribbon-like. So they are also known as flatworms. Okay, they have very soft body. The body is not divided. It is not divided. So we call it as unsegmented body. Okay, they do not have any body cavity because they are very flat. Body cavity will be present if they are round, but they are flat. So no body cavity is present. So there is only one opening, that is mouth, and that is anus, which means food is taken through this opening and the waste material is thrown out through this opening. There is only one opening. Okay, example is tapeworm, also known as Taenia in the scientific language. Another type of worm is nematoda. They are round worms, means their body is cylindrical and they are tapered at both the ends. They look something like this. Their body is long, cylindrical, thread-like, tapering at both the ends. Okay, their body is covered by a layer known as cuticle. Okay, and their head can be distinguished from the rest of the body because some of the feeding organs, with the help of which they eat, feeding organs are present at their head. So if you see any kind of organ while holding it, you will get to know that this is the head of the nematoda. Okay, and example of this is roundworm, hookworm, pinworm. Another type of worms are annelids.